Hello everyone. I am extremely happy to share that I finished 25 days of 24 intermittent fasting, and I'm super happy with what I did. And I would love to share my experiences and some of the challenges that I went through, so that you don't probably have to repeat and learn something from there. So the first things first. Initially, when I started, the first 5 days, I'm sure is super hard. When I say hard, it's really like low energy, and then your body craves for carbs, and you feel like eating. And I would say if you can resist that for the initial 4 5 days, then things get a lot better for sure. And the biggest thing that you also need to really think through is the first 5 6 days, I would say. I had a lot of frequent headaches, clearly because you are not having the right energy, the carbs are low, the energy is low, and then your brain function definitely needs glucose. And low glucose definitely feels like you are having these headaches for sure. That's, I would say, is the only one negative side effect that I had to really overcome for the initial 5 6 days. And then after that, it just was super great. And the initial 1 week, I would say by 9 p.m., I was like pretty much ready to hit the bed. And that's one thing that I know for sure is because of, again, the low energy and all that. And after I sailed through the first 1 week, I would say is the best part that happened, right? And then the headaches have become super minimal, and then after 2 weeks actually they are gone. That's the great part about it. At the time your body gets used to low energy intake, and then it knows how to conserve the energy and then how to utilize the energy from different sources within your body, right? So that's the main change that happens after 1 week. Second thing, I felt much lighter after the first 1 week, and that is really when it was like the lightness, I would say, sometimes is also very difficult to explain or put in words on what does it really mean by feeling light, right? But I felt super light is number one, and number two is it's really about the clarity of thought that you have. And you just feel, it's again very difficult to explain when I say clarity of thought, but it really is one of those side effects where you don't rush into, for example, things, and then when you have multiple things and parallel work that you are doing, you just start finish without really much of interruptions, and then your brain feels a lot more focused at that point of time. So that's something that I felt was a good side effect of whatever I was doing as part of the intermittent fasting for sure. And the third one I would say is because you got used to having food in the 4 hours interval, you typically your stomach also gets used to that timeline as well as the food. And I noticed that I couldn't really take more food, for example, even if I wanted. And that's something that I felt really good about, where after some point of time, even if you want to, you can't really have too much food. So with that said, definitely there are challenges that you need to overcome. For example, when I started, I made sure that I didn't have any conferences, and there wasn't really too much of a physical strain that I was going through that first 1 week. And definitely I didn't really do any workouts during the first 1 week, but after that I started working out for sure. The usual workouts, whatever, whether it is weights or running, treadmill, whatever that you are doing. The first 1 week definitely I paused, and then after that I resumed all the workouts. And then you want to make sure that life happens, and then things come out. Don't be super harsh on yourself. For example, you might have some friends visiting, family visiting, or some unforeseen conferences that you may need to attend. So just give a break, and 1 or 2 days is not going to really make a huge dent in the universe for sure. Don't be harsh. Make sure that you are giving way to your normal life while you are managing strict diet in that sense. For example, I went through a viral fever for about a week, and then there was no way, for example, I would have done the fasting while I was recovering from the viral fever. So those things happen, and then it's completely okay for you to give a break and then continue. That's, I would say, are really the part of the challenges that you need to work through, right? And then some of the tips that probably I learned along the way, and probably that are helpful for you as well, is again, as I said, the first 1 week, I would say pause on the workouts, because workouts definitely need a lot of energy, and that energy you may not really have while you are doing, of course, all the other things, right? Probably like myself, most of you working, family, take care of the kids and all that stuff, you want to really balance that out. That's number one. Number two, with the regular food that we have, definitely we intake a lot of micronutrients, minerals, and then vitamins that really comes out of the food that we have. And because we are having 20 hours of no food, that's something that you are depriving your body of. And then so there are multiple arguments, but then what I started doing was I used to take mineral infused water. That is number one. Number two, I used to also take vitamin supplements along with the food that I used to have. That's one thing. The third thing is make sure that you have plenty of water, a lot of water, by the way, right? Because you don't want the stomach acids to ruin your balance and then cause gastritis or whatever side effects that it has. Make sure that on a regular intervals you have water, so that one, of course, you are properly getting hydrated, but at the same time it also helps you to keep under check on the pH balance of your gut, right? So that's the one thing. The last thing is all about the food that you have within that 4 hour segment that you have. For example, just because you have 4 hours, please don't eat whatever you want to have, right? So that's not the point, by the way. For this intermittent fasting, what you are really doing is a service to your own body, making sure that you are having right fruits, right vegetables, and whatever your preference is. For example, for me, I'm a vegetarian, so from that point of view, I had all the lentils and legumes that gives me the high protein. That's very important for me. And then I had plenty of boiled roasted vegetables, and then fruits in that 4 hour interval. And I think I typically had about 400 calories of worth of food in that 4 hours. Again, I don't necessarily believe in the 2000 calorie per day diet plan at all. So for me, those 400 calories were like a lot better, and I was just super fine with that one. Last but not least is, of course, we're doing all these things and you want to make sure that there is a significant health benefit for you before and after. So what I did was I took my complete blood test done before I started my fasting, and then after I paused after 25 days. Again, the results that I saw were incredible, and I'm really happy with what I went through, and I will definitely continue to do this thing, but probably in a slightly different fashion, which is probably 18/6 is what I think I will be able to stick to in that sense. That's something that I'll do for sure. And lastly, I would say there is a lot of argument in the medical community on whether the intermittent fasting will reduce your immunity or not. And I think there are no real conclusive studies on whether the intermittent fasting will reduce your immunity. There are some studies, for example, that say intermittent fasting reduces your immunity at present because there is not full of energy, and then your body is reducing the immunity so that it can take the energy from the other ways that it can. But there are some studies that suggest that intermittent fasting is very beneficial in the long term. That's something that I would definitely encourage you to do your own research and see what is right for you. And by no means this is like a one size fits all, right? Your body condition might be different, your health condition might be different, so make sure that you are good to go with fasting, and especially the long fasting in that sense, and then go from there. Those are really my outcomes on the intermittent fasting. 20 hours of fasting and then 4 hours of eating window is what I did. And again, as I said, I loved it, and then I'll continue to do, and I'm happy to help anybody who is going through the same or would love to learn more on some of the experts that are out there. Sounds good then. Thank you.